The purpose of this video is to help you find and copy the Digital Moderation Notebook. The Digital Moderation Notebook sits in the Edinburgh Learn CLPL team, and this is the team sitting here on my dashboard. If you don't have access to this team, the joining code is on the Digital Moderation leaflet, and you can click on it here and enter the joining code here. The purpose of the Digital Moderation Notebook is to support assessment and moderation, whether that be at school level, at cluster level, or wider across the local authority or beyond. We've created a template for a notebook that will support teachers within trios or other small groups to have conversations to support the moderation of learning, teaching and assessment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Edinburgh Learn CLPL team once I've got access to it, and I'm going to go in and pick up the notebook. We're talking about assessment and moderation, so we're looking for that channel down here on the left-hand side. If you can't see the channel, just click on Hidden Channels and it will appear here, Assessment and Moderation. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Files and we're going to look for it there. It sits within the Digital Moderation folder, so we just need to click on Digital Moderation and there it is. Now, what I want to do is I want to imagine that this moderation notebook is a jotter. And this jotter is going to be used by each of the trios or small groups of teachers to support the moderation conversation around learning, teaching and assessment. What we've done is we've stored the master for this jotter here in the Edinburgh Learn CLPL team. And what you want to do is you want to pick up this jotter template and you want to put it in all the different places in your team where moderation conversations are going to be happening. And we'll talk in a wee while about what that team might look like. What that will do is it will provide the teachers with the template so that they can enter in the information to support them through the moderation conversations and also to keep that for evidence going forward. So what I want to do is I want to take this notebook master and I want to copy it into the team where my moderation conversations are going to happen. At the moment, all we've got is the master sitting in the Edinburgh Learn CLPL team. Now, in order to copy this master, what I have to do is I have to open this part of the team in SharePoint. And you'll see up here on the right-hand side, we have that option. So I'm going to click on Open in SharePoint. And what this is going to do is it's going to take me to the SharePoint site and it's going to open that part of the team. So here we are, and here's the Moderation Notebook Master. And it's taking a little while to load up, but I'm interested in these three dots here. Now, what we want to do, as I said earlier, is we want to take this notebook and copy it into the team where the moderation conversations are going to happen. So what I need you to do is think carefully before you do this about what that team is going to look like, and is it an existing team or a new team? What I'm imagining in my head when I'm doing this is I'm imagining that I'm responsible for moderation across a primary school. And I'm imagining that I've got a primary school where I've got 3 classes per stage. So when I've built my team and I've built a specific team for moderation, I've got a channel for primary 1 and a channel for primary 2, etc., right the way up to primary 7. You might want to put this into a channel of an existing team and just have it done like that, or you want to build a specific team. Is it across a faculty or a school or a cluster? You need to think about that. What I want to do is I want to go and pick that team up where this notebook is going to go at the moment, because when I copy it over, I want SharePoint to be able to find that team. So what I'm doing now is I'm going back to my teams and I'm going back to my team's dashboard and I'm going to open up the team that I want to put that notebook into. Now, because I'm doing this in a theoretical way, I've built myself a new team and I've just called it Digital Moderation Practice. So I'm going to pick that team up here and I'm going to go into the Files section. Now, this time I want to open this in SharePoint as well. And this is really just so that SharePoint can see it. So I've clicked on these 3 dots and I've gone for Open in SharePoint, and it will take me right back to Edge and it will do exactly the same. So I'll give that a minute to open up. You may have seen when you were in my team what my channels look like. I've got a general channel there in case I want to do a general welcome to the people who are coming along and taking part in the moderation, or put some dates up, those types of things. And then I've got a primary 1 channel and a primary 2 channel. Could take that right up to primary 7 or beyond to S3 if I'm doing it at cluster wide. But again, think about how you want your team to look. So we're going back to Edge. This is where I want to copy the notebook to, and this is where the notebook is sitting at the moment. So I'm going to come to where that Notebook Master is, and I'm going to click on these three dots, and it opens up just as I like. Now, be very careful here. You don't want to click on copy the link. We don't want to send people to this notebook. You actually want to copy this whole notebook into your team. So we're going to come down here and we're going to click on copy to. And you'll see it opens this window up on the right-hand side. And it's unlikely that my other team is going to pop up, but let's see what happens when it loads. So what it's doing is it's loading my most recent, or my most common, I should say, teams that are SharePoint sites that I access. It's not there, so I'm going to click on Browse Sites, and now it brings up my most recent. And because I've opened it in SharePoint, it recognises it and it sits there at the top. So I'm going to click on that. What happens is it opens that up and it will give me options as to where I want to put this Notebook Master. Now I want this notebook to be sitting for every trio or small group of teachers who are going to be moderating. So I'm going to move this Notebook Master into my Primary 1 folder, and then I'm going to move it into the Primary 2 folder. So really what you want to do is you want to be clear before you start this about where you want this notebook to sit. Where are your trios going to meet? And you want to copy it over to as many places as you need in one go. Really, that just saves you coming back and doing it again. So you can see here it says it's copying one item. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if it can cope with two at once. And I'm going to go again, copy two. Let's see what happens again. Do I need to click Browse? It's doing a bit of a spin and having a think about it. Here we go. Still not there. So let's click on Browse Sites, and it should appear quite quickly for me now. That's it saying it's copied the Primary 1 thing over. It's having a little bit of a think about this, isn't it? Here we go. And there it is again. Now remember, I've already copied it to Primary 1. So this time I want to copy it to Primary 2. And as I said, for you, you'd be copying this to every folder in files where your teams are going to be meeting or where your trios are going to be meeting. So here we go, and it just goes in there because I don't have any other folders. Excellent, let's let it do that. Now, when it's done that, I'm going to go back to the team and show you it's sitting there, and we can talk about relabeling this notebook to suit you if you want. And we can also talk about where we're going to store our learner evidence. So let's just let it do that. Edge is not the quickest thing in the world tonight, so I'm going to leave that recording. There we go, it says it's done it. And I'm going to go back to this team. Now I'm going to come out of this team and then I'm going to go back into it just in case that helps it pick everything up that it's copied over. So if you remember, what I should have done is copied that Notebook Master into Primary 1. So I click on Primary 1 and then I need to go to Files because that's where it should be sitting, and there it is. Now, we're going to end up, if you've got many channels there, with many Notebook Masters. So let's rename it. And I'm going to call it Moderation Notebook. And where am I? I'm in Primary 1. So let's say Primary 1, and let's give it a time. So let's imagine that this moderation conversation or set of dialogues is happening beginning August 2021. What that means is this trio can come back and meet multiple times, or you can use this team multiple times and really just put a new notebook in with a new date. And this will also allow you to keep historic evidence there as well. Before we do anything else, let's go in and have a look at this notebook so you're familiar with what's in it. Remember, I said to you, I liken it just to a jotter. So the first thing we've got is the purpose of moderation, so we're clear about that. And then what we're going in to do is we're going in to look at a brief introduction about the overview of the process and also any supporting documents. There's a clear bit there about the moderation process, which is the process that we use here in City of Edinburgh, and what we're able to do, and across the CEIC I should say, and what we're able to do is we're able to provide some support materials. So we've got some completed templates here as exemplars for staff when they're working on their own ones. And then what we've got down here, I've put 4 teachers in, but you could add extra teachers if you want, or remove some if you would like. And the expectation is in this group that I've got 4 teachers meeting. So in Teacher 1, what I've got is I've got their moderation template to support the planning of learning, teaching and assessment, and some of the assessing as well. And then I've got the moderation template for when they come back and they discuss the practitioner moderation template in terms of planning, the learning, teaching, the assessment, and the learner evidence as well. And these documents can be filled in here in the notebook so that you're not having to photocopy things or put things in actual folders. It will sit here and be stored for you as evidence as you would like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into this channel, and what we've done is we've labelled, oh yeah, so we have, it's popped up now. We've labelled that notebook, and what we want to do is we want to add some new folders. So we come in here and we add some new folders, and I'm going to call these folders Learner 1, and these are going to match up, if you like, with our teachers, Learner 2, etc. And what I'm assuming here is that when the teachers get together and they plan the learning, teaching and assessment, and then they go away and they deliver it, they're thinking about one learner, a learner possibly who's on track, and they're putting some learner evidence into that folder, so that when they come back within their trios to look at the practitioner moderation template, they can also look at the learner evidence as well, and they can make some judgments around, is this learner on track to achieve the level, etc. It might be that you want to look at more than one piece of learner evidence. You might want to look at 3 different learners, one who's ahead of track, one who's on track, one who's not yet on track, and you would just build more folders. But at the moment, what we're doing is sticking with that, and each teacher knows, if I'm teacher 1, I use this folder. If I'm teacher 2, I use this folder. And you can carry on and build more folders if you've got a larger group of teachers. So as I say, what you want to think about to summarise is, first of all, how are you going to construct your team or add this to an existing team so that your teachers are really clear about where the notebook sits and where they're going to put the learner evidence, and so that all teachers who are engaging in moderation can access the team that you're going to be using. Then you want to go to the Edinburgh Learn CLPL team, and you want to open that in SharePoint so that you can move the notebook over into your team. And remember to move it into all the different places you want, and then relabel it if that helps in terms of making teachers clear about which notebook is theirs. Please also remember to access the professional learning on assessment and moderation if this process is new to you. Thank you.